these names. What's up? How are you?
Gonna
So
say.
anyways, we're here on Thursdays.
Yeah.
I don't know for how long we'll be doing this on Thursdays, but Devin and I have started this new venture. It's called SideQuest Strategies, and we've kind of gone over this the last couple. This is the third Thursday I think we've streamed to Twitch.
Oh man. Stream to Twitch.
Yeah.
You're right there.
On the Twitch channel.
This is technically the 5th episode of the SideQuest strategy show. But yeah, probably the 3rd time we've streamed on
this
your
Twitch channel.
Yeah. That sounds about right.
So we decided to start this, this fun venture where between the two of us, we talk about all the stuff that we've learned in this field of creating content for the internet or people to consume. Because between the two of us, I feel like we've experienced and learned a lot and are still constantly experiencing and growing new things. I have an announcement, Twitch. We, as in the royal we and the family, will be coming to TwitchCon in like 2 weeks.
Let's go.
Yay.
It is literally 2 weeks.
Yeah.
In 2 weeks, I will be in San Diego.
Yeah.
Right now.
In 2 weeks, we will be in San Diego too. Actually, what is it? Thursday?
Yeah, it's Thursday
I
night.
will be in San Diego, but it sounds like my family's not coming until Friday.
Oh,
yeah,
well, that's fine.
Yeah, sure.
Man.
But yeah, kind of it was like, am I going here? Am I going there? What am I going to do? Where am I going to go? I was going to, Michelle, I don't know if you're here or not, but I was going to be at the Portland Expo, which is in 2 weeks, the Retro Game Expo. And I was going to be up there with Mod Retro. And then you had been going to TwitchCon, had this planned for quite some time. And I was like, eh. And then all of a sudden, when Twitch 100%. Sort of became more of a thing for me over the last 8 months or so, it was like, I don't know, maybe this TwitchCon thing is something that I should be experiencing as well. And I had a long conversation with the guys over at Mod Retro, and they were like, yeah, it wouldn't be bad to have you there, repping at TwitchCon as well. And it all just sort of fell into place. I was like, that sounds expensive. I don't know that I want to go down there and do that. And then things happened, and here we are.
Yeah. I was gonna say, I think there's gonna be a lot of really fun people there to network with. I think there's gonna be a lot of amazing brands to talk to, and I think it's just gonna be a really fun time. Just all around. So.
And yes, Tommy Guns, that is Shorty from Killer Clowns from Outer Space.
Yeah, okay. I definitely was gonna take offense again. I thought you meant me looking like one of the killer.
Is that other guy he's a killer clown from outer space?
But that's that other thing over there.
Yeah, announcements out of the way now. We're all right. I should probably make a video about that tomorrow, but we are going to TwitchCon, it looks like. We will be attending TwitchCon, which is gonna be fun. And coming back to this, SideQuest Strategies. So it is a private Discord server.
Speaking of SideQuest Strategies and TwitchCon, I feel like if we're both going to be in San Diego on a Thursday night, maybe we try to do a live stream from somewhere.
I'm totally down for that.
I think that would be fun.
Yeah. I'll have to get in early enough. I'll see what time I fly. See what time I can get a flight in there.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, that'd be a great idea. I really like that idea a lot.
Yeah.
So we have a private Discord server that you could join. People have been using it. My lovely wife and Adam and a couple other people have already done it in the chat here. If you're in Twitch, you just type in !SideQuest. The link will come up. You can join that Discord server if you so please. And we are in there weekly. From a bus stop. Nothing fancy would need to be there if that's the case. We're in there, and we're basically it's a coaching program. We just want to share all the information that we have learned, and so that's what we're here to do. And so I thought it would be fun to utilize the Twitch channel for the foreseeable future to stream, the first hour or so of our Thursday meetings. It's usually only like 20 minutes.
Something like that. Yeah.
And then we hop into, the private Discord and we do one-on-one video chats.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, our friend Total Trek, if you're over there, Total Trek, I'm not sure which side you're on.
I think he's over on Twitch now, but
yeah.
That's fine.
But he's been doing lots of one-on-one with us, and it's been a lot of fun. So, and we Devin always preps some awesome topics for these. Usually I will complain to him during the week about something. I'm just like, oh, I hate this thing, and he's like, we should talk about it.
We should. Yeah,
what if we make that a topic? And so, that's today's topic. You want to take it away? What is today's topic?
Yeah, sure. So since we were just talking about it, this is technically week 5 of us kind of doing this little talk show podcast. So we're just over a month in of publicly releasing SideQuest strategy, and I've talked to a lot of different creators, and this is kind of getting to one of those points where a lot of people start to see those first signs of burnout.
Mm-hmm.
Right? I know that's a really popular buzzword around the content creator space, burnout. But this is kind of one of those in that journey. You're posting a bunch, you're creating some cool ideas, and you get a video that does some really good numbers, and then all of a sudden it slows down a little bit. You're really struggling to come up with another really, really great idea since you've been doing this for a month already, or however long it's been, and all of a sudden it just isn't quite as fun anymore, and it starts to feel a little bit like a job. So we're kind of at that spot. Not that this isn't still fun. I'm having a blast with this still.
I'm there. I'm here to tell you tonight. I quit Tofer.
Yeah. So Tofer is the king of burnout, or the opposite, I guess, the king of not having to experience burnout. Although I'm sure that you experienced burnout at some point, but
in certain ways, yeah.
I think what is insanely unique about Tofer here, and obviously something that he has talked about a lot before, is he has been so insanely consistent with his content over the years, and that is one of the things that makes him so successful, is that consistency and the never missing a day and all that kind of stuff, right? Now, I don't think you need to post as much as Chris, as often as he does, but just throwing that out there, that is, I think, a big part of your success.
If you want to make it, you have to do it every day.
Yeah, I mean, consistency is a huge deal. But I would love to be able to talk to you a little bit about how you either avoid burnout, how you work through it, how you get over it, how any of those types of things that you seem to have defeated burnout. So I would love to
I would love to talk about it, because I have very specific I have a very specific opinion on it.
Okay.
Because I do experience it. I think the burnout that I feel is a different type of burnout than most other people would experience, just being a and I say creator. Like, when I use the word creator, I'm talking like multiple spaces. It doesn't necessarily have to be video creation. It could be podcast and audio. It could be written word. It could be photographic. You could have a very traditional Instagram page where what you post are photographs, which is actually what my page was supposed to be when I started it. And burnout happens in doing any of it. In fact, it doesn't even have to be content. You get burnout doing anything.
Yeah.
And after doing it for, let's see, I just looked at this number the other day and I thought it was like absurd when I was like, there's no way. Okay. So I actually don't post a lot of photos, or still images on my Instagram page. Most of it is videos. I would say 95% of it is videos. And as of right now, I have posted 4,048 of them in just a little over 3 years. And on YouTube, you probably know how to get to that statistic quicker than I do. 3,100-ish uploads to my YouTube channel since I started actually doing it about 3 years ago.
That's crazy.
That equaled at one point, I have, because thanks to Devin actually, I have sort of like dialed things back a little bit, and maybe I'm not quite so like 4 videos a day every day, but that was my thing when I started. Is I made this very active choice to go, well, if I'm going to do this, then I'm going to do it every day, never miss a day. And I'm going to do it multiple times a day. And I read this book called Crushing It by Gary Vaynerchuk. Thank you, Gary. You're probably to blame for this. But I read this book, and in there he was basically like, you can't ever post too much. There's no such thing. Especially when you're starting. When you're starting, and I'll explain. When you're starting, he's correct. You cannot post too much. There's no such thing. When you have a page that is blank and you have no followers.
Is only because our topic tonight is about burnout. I would say asterisks unless you are burning yourself out.
Correct. Okay, so what I meant
for the
is
algorithms,
for
the
as far as like the algorithm goes and stuff, it doesn't matter, because when you're a blank page, none of that matters. It doesn't matter if you post 10 videos a day or 1 video a day. Like the strategy that I didn't understand when I first took this oath of like 4 videos a day, every day, never miss a day, even on COVID days, even on birthdays, even on, doesn't matter, diarrhea, do it from the toilet. Like none of that mattered. I was going to post 4 videos every day.
We deleted those diarrhea videos.
Oh, they're not still, man, that was a high view one too. But like, I didn't even understand why at first. And then after about a year or so of doing it, it all made sense. And it was because it was practice. It wasn't because I was growing a channel. I wasn't trying to like harvest an audience and get an audience. The first umpteen months or even years of doing this, the first 1,000 videos that I posted are only posted to teach me how to make videos the most efficient way possible. Because if you learn how to make 4 videos a day, and I did it I'm still doing it with a full-time job, working, 40 plus hours a week, running a separate business. I do it on my spare time. And when you do that, you learn the like your workflow can become like perfected over time. And that was why it was so important for me to post so frequently and learn, because I'm learning all of these things. Like, hi, can I help you? No?
And even after 1,000 streams, your kids still don't learn.
Still walking in. They're just like, hi, I need like an on-air sign, huh? What do you need?
I was wondering if you can unlock the car so I can get
my bag's upstairs, my key's in it. Just take my bag out there and grab the door handle, it'll unlock. All right. So it teaches you how to make videos. That's the most important thing. And then, especially once I started, because I started on Instagram and TikTok first. I think those were the 2 that I was doing first. And then I added in, well, by extension, it was Facebook also. And then about 6 months after I started doing all of that, then I started posting to YouTube. So I'm producing, I'm shooting. Okay, let's go even further back than that. I'm conceptualizing 4 ideas a day. Then I'm shooting 4 ideas a day. And then I'm editing those 4 ideas a day. And then I'm packaging the 4 ideas a day. And by packaging, I mean I'm writing the copy, which is your description. I am adding subtitles to every single video. I'm adding music and titling. And in some cases, you don't need titling. Instagram and TikTok, you don't need titles, but that's neither here nor there. So you learn all of that stuff by just making the video. Then it comes to posting on all of the platforms. You post, because I don't have a program. Maybe I should at this point. I don't use something that is like, I upload it to one thing and it just posts to everything. I still post individually on every platform, which, truth be told, probably one of the most tedious things about making content. So I still hand post to Instagram. Actually, Instagram does post to Facebook for me, so those two. But TikTok I still hand post to, and YouTube I still actually manually post to. When you do that 4 times a day, even if it's just for a year, every single day, you learn the ins and outs. You learn all the tricks. You learn every little thing.
Don't do it 4 times a day, please. That's how you burn yourself out.
5 is what I suggest.
So you've done this for a very long time now. Like, how
3.5 years.
Have you had any major like episodes of burnout, like that you experienced those? I really want to quit. I do not want to do this anymore. Was there ever a moment that you were just, okay, well, that doesn't really help us with this.
Not, well, and let me explain. Not in the sense of me going, I'm so sick of making videos. I cannot make another video. I've never had that moment.
Yeah.
In fact, there have been lots of times where the breakdown for me, the barrier of entry was the process of posting the video, because there are quite a few Tofer A videos that have been shot and edited and never actually made it posted. And then like they're topical. So it's like, well, I remember early on in my content career or whatever, I decided to shave my head because like I used to have long hair, and I would always put it up like Leland. Basically, I looked like Leland, surfer kid and whatever, skater kid, and I used to put my hair up. And I always told Mel, I was like, if it comes to that point where it's looking up top, let me know.
Like,
I don't want to look like, I don't want to look like Schmeagol. You know what I mean? And so one day she was like, I was getting something out of the fridge, and I stood up and she was right there and she was like,
it's time.
It was that moment from The Lion King. It's time. Yeah. And I was like, okay, I've never shaved my head before in my life. And so we made it content. This was very early on. I think I started Mystery Plant Theater. We're in 25, so 24, 23, 22. Summer of 2022 is when I started. And I think it was like late summer 2022 when I decided I was just going to shave my head. And by shave my head, I'm not talking about Ria Linda style buzz cut. I'm talking like Bic skin to the skin, basketball style. Because I want to know what my head looked like.
Sure.
Do I have a good looking head? Do I have a bad looking head? Do I look like an alien? What do I look like? Turns out I made a video about it. If you want to dig far enough back into my content, you can find the video where Mel shaves my head for the first time.
Nice.
So anyway, long story short, I shaved my head and I was already stacking content at that point where it was like, just some days I'd make 5 videos or 6 videos. And it was like, I just don't I don't have time to put all of these out. And again, the barrier of entry for me, the thing that I hate doing still the most is the process of posting the video. And actually, when we're getting ready to finish this up, remind me to give you my list of favorite platforms to post to least favorite platforms to post to, because I feel like anybody who is starting this and wants to prioritize, I've learned a lot. Remind me to do that. I've always wanted to make a video doing that.
Sure.
So after I'd shaved my head, like a month or so would go by, and I'm like, I got you know, I only have 3 videos today. Well, I guess I could post that one video from, you know, a few weeks ago or whatever. And then it turns out like on my page, I have like a video where I'm bald and then a video where I have hair. And I'm like, okay, this is kind of silly. So things are very topical with my videos.
Yeah.
Not all of them, but some of them. And so like, fun fact, some of my most viral videos were ones that I didn't think I shot them very quickly, guerrilla style. They weren't even really edited. And then like the next day when I was going to post it, like a big piece of gaming news would come out. And so I cover that instead.
Yeah.
And be like, man, that video was stupid anyways. Nobody wants to see a video about old skate shoes. Duh, dumb. Nobody wants to see a video about a porch goose. That's dumb. Video game stuff. And then like a week would go by and there'd be a day where I have like a dry spell where I just like was busy and I needed an extra video. And so I'm like, I'll post that one stupid skate shoe video. And then it does like 5 million views. And I'm like, I had this thing in my back pocket the whole time.
Mm-hmm.
So remember, folks, the video that's going to do well, Trek, if you're watching this, I know you are, that video of you freaking out on the Amazon people, that's the one.
That's the one.
That's the keeper. But that is my biggest form of burnout was never like, I just cannot make another video. People ask me a lot, like, when I do conventions or like when I do panels and I talk about content creation, one of the questions I get all the time is like, how do you come up with video ideas? And it's a very valid question because I can think in the 3.5-ish years that I've been doing it, I could probably think back to like 2 or 3 times total that I ever sat down and was just like, I can't think of anything to make a video about. So like 3 times in 3.5 years, it very seldomly happens to me because like I sit down in this environment, like you're only getting to see what's directly behind me. Behind the camera is like hundreds upon thousands of like my childhood stuff. And so it would be near impossible for me to sit in this room one night and go, I can't think of one video I can make, you know, like, not to mention, we talked about this last week, but not to mention the fact that like I stray from video games. Like I make variety content. I make stuff that I'm interested in. And that leads me to the next little bit of like how to avoid what we call burnout or getting sick of doing this. And that is just talk about the stuff that you really enjoy.
Mm-hmm.
That is the secret to not getting sick of it. Like, you never want to get a divorce, marry somebody that you just can be around all the time.
Yeah.
And like, if it's your best friend and you love the person so much, then like, you might have little arguments and fights here and there, but you just can't never picture your life without that person. And so that's sort of like video making for me is like, yeah, maybe I'll get to a point one day where I'm like, I just don't feel like uploading 3 videos or 4 videos every day anymore. Maybe I get to doing like 1 video a day or just sticking to long form vlogs or something like that. But I've never once been like, oh God, I have to. And I've been around so many creators over the last 3 years that's sort of like, you know, they don't come out and say it, but like they have that vibe of like, I got to shoot a video tonight. I don't know what I'm going to do. I got to figure this thing out. And it's like, you sound like you don't like this, man. Like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
You know, it's almost like, you know, you're sitting at the bar with your pals or whatever, and you're just like, all right, well, I guess I better go home to that old bag at home, you know? And it's like, well, what the hell? Why are you even married then? Why are you doing this? If you don't like this, don't do it. The secret, dude, just talk about the stuff that you love.
Yeah. Content creation is definitely not the amount of times I've had to tell people that content creation is not a get rich quick scheme. Like, as many people will tell you
3 years in, not rich.
Right? As many people will
Not
tell
wealthy.
you that, that, "Oh, yeah, you just post, you just gotta do this, you just gotta follow my formula, and in 30 days, boom, you'll be getting millions of views and you'll be rich." There are obviously edge cases. There are people that have done this for 10, 15, 20 years that can probably make something like that happen, but
Yeah.
again, it's because they've been honing this craft for 10, 15, 20 years, right? I guarantee that, Tofer, you could start a brand new channel, and if you put these tactics, you take everything that you've learned and put it towards something, and you post 4 videos a day, and you will be growing very, very fast, right?
Yeah.
But if you are just starting out, if you have not done this before, if you have not put in the practice of making videos and writing the copy and figuring out what people want to watch and what people don't want to watch, and it's definitely not a get rich quick scheme. So that's why, I know that you always talk about talking about what you love, being passionate about the thing that you are making videos about, because at the end of the day, you have to be passionate about this, because you're not going to make money from this before you get burnt out, if that's your only
Correct.
goal.
And I've sat in on plenty of panels with other creators that have said the same thing, where they're just like, if you're starting to do this because you think that it is going to make you wealthy, you're doing it for the wrong reason. The whole reason that I am doing it is, man, I just really want to be wealthy. No, I just want to feel fulfilled with the stuff that I'm doing. I want to be happy with the things that I'm doing in my life. And it turns out, and I didn't know this until I started doing it, but it turns out, as long as you just do what you love and you are fulfilled, then the rest of it just kind of like flows into place. It doesn't happen right away, but it does.
Yeah.
And it is just the biggest advice that I could give for avoiding burnout is just be authentically you and talk about the stuff that you authentically love. If you are going to talk about stuff that you don't understand, it has to be framed in the manner that you are exploring this topic. I do it sometimes where I'm just like, I don't know much about Pokemon. I mean, I do now because it's been so long, but like when I started making Pokemon content, which was my channel was heavy for the first year, probably, I was only making Pokemon content because my kids loved Pokemon so much. And I'm 45, so I missed the Pokemon train. I was already into girls when Pokemon came out. So I was like, Pikachu or, the ladies.
Pikachu.
And I was like, Pikachu. And so like I wanted to understand what it was that my kids loved about it. And so when I started making content, all of my content was framed from like, I even had a video series early on, I don't know if some of you may remember it, where I called it Pokemon at 40, where I'm like, hi, I'm 40 years old. I've never played a Pokemon game before. This is my first one. I'm going to source all of my Pokemon information from the comments of these videos. So I'm not going to look anything up. If I have a question and I don't understand, then I'm going to ask the videos. And I was still pretty new. I was still young in the content thing. And so like, it's not like I was getting hundreds of comments. It was like 20 comments. And it was a lot of fun until I started, then all of a sudden people are just like, you fucking moron. You used to call yourself a gamer. And it's like, hey, I'm totally willing to say I didn't play these things. I'm not going to fake it. Yeah. Like, I just didn't play them. So, that's my advice. Just talk about the stuff that you love.
So here's something that I've also heard a lot of, especially from gamers, is, okay, I'm doing what I love. I'm talking about what I love.
Thank you, Tommy Guns.
But now all of a sudden, it's starting to become a little bit like a job. Mm-hmm. And gaming isn't as fun anymore. Either I'm playing a game and I'm thinking about how it can become content, or I'm feeling like I can't play this game because I need to record it and I need to get all ready and get my stream set up to be able to do it, or it's just it feels a little bit too much like a job now. I don't know if you've ever felt that way.
Yeah, with games for sure.
Yeah. Any advice for all of our gamers out there?
I remember the very first time I hit this crossroads. It was actually this year. The very first time that like a big developer ever just blindly reached out to me. And like the NDA is up now, so I can talk about it. But like Ubisoft reached out to me, which was like crazy to me because it was like, why would they want anything to do with me? So I got a message from Ubisoft. It was when the new Assassin's Creed game was coming out earlier this year, and they were like, "We would love for you to cover Assassin's Creed Shadows." And I was like, "Oh my god, they want me to play Assassin's Creed Shadows. This is awesome." I'm a huge Assassin's Creed fan. I love Assassin's Creed. Some games more than others. And so I was like, "Yeah, no brainer." This is like a month maybe even a month and a half before the game released. And so like obviously I've signed a lot of NDAs, and so like it wasn't the first NDA I'd ever gone through, but it was the most extensive process I'd ever gone through, where it's like, you can't talk about this game. You can't even let people know you're playing. Actually, you can let people know you're playing this game, but you can't say nothing else. And I had this moment where like I had a video game that I loved in my hands a month before release. And I was like, what's the phrase that I'm looking for? I was in an analysis paralysis because I had the creator in me ripping me this way and the gamer in me that just wanted to game the shit out of it ripping me in this way. And I was like, I want to do my due diligence and play through this whole game in this month that I have, so I could let all of you know whether it's good or not on the day that it comes out, like a normal reviewer would do. But I also want to capture my experience of playing this game so I can make some big long form video and like like really spend the time. And so like it was so hard for me to separate the two parts of me that just, I'm a gamer and I just wanted to enjoy the game. That's all I wanted to do. But I'm also a creator and I wanted to be able to make a lot of really cool, creative and neat content with what the gift that I was given, which was being able to experience the game early. And I was stuck in analysis paralysis for like 3 weeks in this process. And then I didn't make any good content with it. And I didn't finish the damn game for that reason.
Yeah.
And so what did I end up doing? I live, you guys probably remember, I live streamed the game the day that the embargo lifted because they were allowing me to do that. And so that's what I did. And it was like, I've run into this a number of times, and truth be told, this is why I'm on Twitch. I started making so much content about games that I wasn't able to, I couldn't find time to play games. And I was like really bummed out about it. I remember this was 2 Christmases ago. The kids, we had just started letting the kids play Fortnite for the first time. So they were really getting into Fortnite. And then we kind of fell back in with Fortnite, Mel and I, and we were just like, man, this is tons of fun. We're playing as a family, but I didn't have a lot of time to do it because I'm making content all the time. And Mel was already watching people on Twitch. And she's like, we should just like, what if you just started? She didn't say we, because truth be told, my wife never wanted to be on video.
Yeah.
But she's like, well, why don't you just stream?
Why don't you just like make more content?
Yeah. Why don't you just stream? And I was like, okay. Well, I already, at the time, my channel on Instagram was getting larger. I want to say I had like just hit 100,000 followers or something like that. And I'm like, I'll just stream on Instagram, because that was sort of right about the time where like TikTok live was really blowing up. And I was like, when you get big enough on Instagram and Meta, like they like call you and stuff, and they like talk to you about future features that are going to be coming. And one of the things that they were really pumping was like this live stream thing, and I'm like, oh, you guys are going to take the cake from TikTok. And TikTok at the time, it sort of seemed like TikTok was eating Twitch's lunch a little bit, or at least that's sort of how it felt there for about 4 or 5 months, where it was like, man, what is going on over on TikTok? And then I think people realized that like, oh, this is fucking a dumpster fire over here. It's just trash content. No offense to TikTokers, but a lot of people made it huge on that. So I was like, all right, let's live stream. But you're going to do it with me because we're doing family play. And she was just like, ugh. So we started doing, you guys probably remember, we started doing a lot of Instagram lives, and we had to do the vertical videos. So it was like, come up with this real creative way to make them, I don't know, it was dumb. And Instagram live just never took off. And so my wife finally talked me into like, nah, let's do Twitch. We need to do Twitch. I'm telling you. And I'm like, I don't want to have to build a new following somewhere else. This is not, and luckily she convinced me. She's like, no, look at this girl that I follow. She's really cool. And she's starting to like grow a lot on there. And now she's friggin' huge on there. And so we started doing that. And the only reason I started doing Twitch was to get game time in. Because it was like, I'm just only exclusively going to play the games on Twitch that I want to play. Like, why not? I could still play games. And funny little side note, over the last 20, well, it hasn't been going on that long. I've been running this business that I run for 25 years or so. But over like the last 5 or 6 years, I've kind of fantasized about like, man, what if that place shut down? What if I lost my job? What would I do? And I always, in my head, I swear I was always like, and this is before I was doing any video stuff online. I was always like, I'd become a streamer. And then I think in my head, like, well, how would I do it? How could I be successful? I know what I would do. I would just stream for fucking 8 hours a day, every single day, because I'd be jobless. And like, I know everything there is to know about video games. So like, I have all the knowledge. That's what I would do. And then now here I am, like some years later, streaming to Twitch 4 nights a week and only doing it out of necessity to force myself to have game time. And what I've managed to do to avoid, to bring this all the way around and to wrap this whole present very nicely, what I continue to do to avoid burnout in this field, the field of creation, is when I start to feel like there is a deficit of one thing in my life that I'm missing. Because, like the fine art of balancing work-life flow in life is probably the hardest thing, right? Family, work, life. Like if your family life is super great, usually your professional life is total shit, and vice versa. They're never like both here.
Yeah.
It's just how life is. But when I find myself at enough of a deficit, I've learned to take a step back and look at what I'm doing and go and just like be curious about how could I inject a little bit of this aspect that I'm missing in my life into what I'm doing now. And I did it sort of by accident with the Twitch stuff, where it was like, I miss playing games. How do I get to play more games? Well, I'll just make it part of my work. So, and you have probably, if you watch my long form videos, you've probably noticed recently with the family vlogs. I noticed, some 6 months ago or a year ago that my kids were all of a sudden like growing up. Leland's like fucking 6 feet tall and wearing 11 and a half shoes at age 11, and I'm just like, oh my God, life is blowing by me. I need to do more with these guys. Not that I wasn't before, because I'm a very, very active dad. But I was like, so how can I make sure that what I'm doing is giving me that too. And then it was like, well, I love going places with them. I love just experiencing things with them, taking them places. Why don't I just take them places and start just shooting videos on the whole thing, and then putting it together as some sort of like family vlog, and just make a whole section of that. And when I first started doing that, like nobody watches, it's like this first few vlogs, you get like, 500 views at best. And it's like, ooh, man, those are not like Dr. Mod videos for sure.
Yeah.
But the more you do them, the better you get at them, the better you get at telling stories, the better you get at like knowing what people enjoy out of that. Like putting out a family vlog is so interesting because you never know like what aspect of that thing people are going to take away from it. Like what is the thing that is going to attract people the most to a family vlog? And it turns out, for at least for me and from what I've noticed and why I've been able to get my family vlogs like I have an hour and a half long family vlogs. Well, I was just telling you right before the stream, Matt sent me. He finally finished, guys. He finally finished the June Los Angeles Disneyland Tetris World Championship SoCal vlog. He had to parse through 9 hours of footage for that. It's still about 2 hours long, so it's still a long one, and it'll probably come out Saturday is my guess, but it's done. When I look at those things, I thought like, what are people going to enjoy about this? Because like, I don't know that my life is interesting enough to be like the Osbournes or something, where like I'm just my family is just a TV family or something. So it's like, well, we experience a lot of this stuff. My kids experience a lot of this stuff. When I first started taking my kids to do this sort of stuff, like I had questions. I wanted to know, like, when I go to Disneyland, where should I stay? What hotel do I stay at? How much are the hotels? How far is the walk? If I book the Holiday Inn, am I going to have to walk for an hour before getting to? So these are all questions that I had. And I'm like, well, why don't we just like, as part of the family vlogs, like address this sort of stuff and talk about this sort of stuff. And like, it's just, I think the thing that has kept me from burnout or getting sick of doing this is being curious about like, okay, well, I feel like my life is missing a little bit of this. I sort of miss playing games a little bit. And so then I'll start a Twitch channel, or like I sort of miss just adventuring with my family on the weekends. And so it's like, well, why don't I just start shooting family vlogs? I sort of miss gardening this year, so I'm just going to start like doing gardening videos again. Now I'm all of a sudden I miss inline skating, and I'm doing some inline skate videos. And so I think it's important to not be afraid to venture out as long as it's something you're passionate about, because it keeps you curious. And when you're curious about things, like being 45 and curious is super fun, because I feel like I'll never get to know everything that I want to know. And so if I get to explore all of that, like, every weekend is a new adventure for us. And the fact that like everyone gets to kind of join along on these adventures it's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
What's up, Tony? First time chat. How are you?
Hey, Tony. What's going on? So one other thing that I was, thinking about is, so obviously there are ups and downs in content creation, roller coasters, right? The numbers go up, the numbers go down. You're never going to change that. It never is just a straight line up.
Yeah, here's something that I would love to talk about.
Okay.
I have feelings on this.
And, we've talked about this, growth happens, growth slows down, things slow down every once in a while. There are different seasons of content creation, literally just different months out of the year are better and worse for different kinds of content. Right.
Mm-hmm.
So when you are having a slow week or a slow month in content creation where you're just not getting the views that you want, you're not seeing the same type of growth that you were the last month of doing this. What are some of those things that keep you pushing forward and keep you going?
This is a very difficult thing to experience the first handful of times, especially when you've experienced like a really massive burst of growth. That very first time that I had, it was probably, it wasn't even Mystery Plan. It was probably like maybe one of the PlayStation 2 videos where I did like 2 or 3 back to back that just did gangbusters, and like my channel was growing by like 1,000 followers a day at one point. That puts you on such a creator's high that even when you go back to a baseline of like, 100 followers a day or whatever, it's like, I've failed. I'm a one-hit wonder. This sucks. It's honestly, it's a position I've always wanted to be in as a musician. I always wanted to know what it felt like to be like a one-hit wonder. I was like, man, I just want that one song, man. But that's how it feels. It can feel like it's over. Like you've failed. That is the beauty and the curse of having your first big video. Because you just want to recreate that and live that high and fantasy like over and over and over again. But when it doesn't happen again for a few months, maybe even longer than that, it can be very difficult. And it's not just difficult the first time, it's difficult the third and the fifth time as well. And I've been through this. I like to call these glass ceilings. These are those moments where like you start in this room and you look up and you're like, wow, look at that. I could grow all the way up there, 3 stories or whatever. And it's this huge vaulted ceiling. And you're just like, wow. And then like you experience that, like that growth of like, whoa. And then you get there and you realize like, oh shit, I can't grow anymore. And then you feel, it stops and you feel stuck. And you're just like, it can be, this is also where a lot of people quit, where a lot of people this is like, it's almost like an artificial burnout, because you're actually not burnt out on making the content. You're actually feeling like you're not holding yourself to the same standard that you were at a month ago or 3 months ago or whatever, and that people have passed you by. But at the end of every growth phase and at the very bottom of every glass ceiling is a test. And we've talked about this before. I always call it the content gods are putting you through the test. Some of them are much harder than others. And this applies to life in general. It's not just, I don't want to sound like that douchebag that's like content creation, man. But like this happens in all of life, whether you're going from elementary school to middle school or middle school to high school, or you're going into a new job, or you're just growing as an individual and as a human being in general. The growth process is very uncomfortable. I'm going through a very uncomfortable growth process in my life right now, where it looks like fundamentally, I always wondered for the last 3 years, I was always like, man, I wonder what it would be like to do this for a living. Like, I see these people doing it. I see people with like a quarter of the following that I have doing it. And I'm like, how are they doing it? I'll be frank with you guys. Like, I don't make a lot of money doing this. Like again, it's not about making money, but like if I'm going to support my family doing it. And I think a lot of people see like, here's this dude who has so many followers or whatever, or so many subscribers and all this, like these accolades, and you must just like get everything, right? Like you must just be super rich. And especially they see this sort of stuff and they're just like, rich dude, like rich dude. I am rich in spirit, but I'm not wealthy, like it is what you said is very true. If you're doing this, or if you're starting to do this for the money, you're doing the wrong thing.
Yeah.
But I always wondered, like, what is that like? Is that a possibility? And it always feels like, oh yeah, it's right around the corner. It's right around the corner. It's like, you ever been on one of those long cross country drives where you turn onto a highway and you're like, holy shit, that is as far as the eye can see, and it's all road. But you know what? At the end of that is where I need to be. And then you're on that road for like 3 hours and you finally get to the next turn. And you're like, oh, thank God. And you turn, and it's just another big old fucking stretch.
Oh yeah.
And you're like, oh my God. That's what this feels like. You're actually growing. And in my experience, it's like boiled frogs. I don't know if you're familiar with like the theory of boiled frogs, where you put a frog in cold water and you boil the water, and they sit in there until they boil to death, because they don't realize the temperature is slowly rising. As where if you take a frog and throw it in boiled water, it jumps out because it's like, fuck, hot. But when you're boiling it, when you start it cold and you got nothing, your baseline is here and you're growing. It's like watching your kids grow up. Like, you and I are parents, and a lot of you guys are parents. Every day you see your kid grow this much.
Yeah.
So it doesn't look like they're growing to you until one day you look back at the video from last year and you're like, oh. And that's where I am right now, in this very uncomfortable growth phase of my life, where it's like, I always wondered what it would be like, and now I'm about to find out. It's a very it's very uncomfortable, but that's that moment. If you ever feel like things are just totally unbearable, whether it be, and where I'm not talking about just content creation, but just in life. Like, if you have those moments where things are just totally unbearable and they feel like you just can't, just know that it's only this much more that you have to push through before you get out the other side. And you're like, wow. And then you look back on that and you're like, I survived that, and now I'm a stronger person for doing that.
Yeah.
It applies in so many different aspects of life. But
I think I think that's a really cool way to look at it too. Is like, you don't always realize how much you are growing, even if it's not in the analytics. Like you were talking about at the beginning, even just doing the thing, you're getting better at it. You're growing in the skill of doing this thing, which is going to, translate into more growth eventually. But one of the other things that I think has definitely helped me get through a bunch of stuff, and honestly, I would imagine probably you as well, is just literally forming the habits of doing these things.
Yeah.
So even when you're not feeling motivated to do them, even when you're just not feeling like creating another video, you just get to the point where it's your habit, it's your routine, it's just the thing that you do. Again, we have referenced going and working out a bunch on this in past episodes already. Like, just, it's never fun to wake up in the morning and go and work out. Like, it, at some point you're going to be like, I really don't want to do this. I don't want to wake up today. I don't want to go and work out.
Yeah.
But when that's your habit, when that's just the routine, it gets you going, and it gets you doing that thing. And that's definitely something that's helped me, is just knowing that, hey, I got to get this video done. Hey, I got to make a post today. I have to do something. It's just a routine. Or, at the end of the day, when, after dinner and I go and, sit somewhere and we think about this, and all right, now now I'm in that mode. I might not want to do it, but that's just what I do right now.
Yeah.
Just to get you through those days is just falling back to those habits and routines.
And I think the most important thing to remember about creating a habit, or a like habitual routine that doesn't wear you out, is always like, and again, it goes back to curiosity. Like, be curious about your point of contentions. Like, look at all of the things, look at what you do. as a whole. Like, and I look at it in the form of like a video process. And Total Trek, we talked about this with you last week, where here is making a video on this scale, all the way from concept, thinking about what it is that you're going to do, all the way to the post, actually writing up the post and everything in between. And then think of that as like a graph, and all the little red blips are the parts that like maybe you don't like so much, because there's all little aspects that like maybe I don't like so much. And I had tons of those early on. Like there were so many aspects. One of the hardest things for me to get over when I first started shooting video was just shooting the video, which sounds crazy, but that's so hard for people to get over. Point a camera at yourself and press record. So if it sucks, don't put it out. Who cares? At least you've done it. And so you look at all those red blips and you analyze each one and you go, okay, Trek, we talked about this last week, right? Editing. Editing can be a bitch, man. Editing can really suck if you don't have your workflow perfect for you. And it's different for everybody. Some people think I'm crazy for editing all my videos on my phone.
Yep.
Every single one of my videos is edited on my phone. My beautiful wife. That just works for me. I could edit a short flawlessly in 5 minutes on my phone. It just works for me. That's my workflow. And so like early on, I looked at all the things that I hated, or all the things that were like road bumps for me. And I figured out how to go in there and like rub them out, smooth them out, figure out how to make it enjoyable and how to make it a reward for me. And now I can truly say, and I will have to say, like, my template early on for this was watching Ryan at Fire and Ice and watching how he handles the store. Because I'm looking at this guy who's created Fire and Ice, like, from nothing, with no experience in retail, no business masters, nothing, somehow doing the impossible.
Yeah.
Right? Like, he's doing this impossible thing. He's opening a retro game store in times where the only game stores left on the planet are going bankrupt and they're closing. And somehow he's doing it super successfully. And for like fucking 15 hours a day some days. And I'm just like, how is this dude doing it? And he probably doesn't know this, but like, I spent so much time just like kind of analyzing how this dude works and like what it is about it. And I realized that like, oh, he just looked at all of the things that he knows that he's good at. Merchandising. Turns out dude's like a merchandising genius. Like, he just looked at all those things and like put them all together in a way that he found enjoyable, that doesn't kill him when he does it for 18 hours a day. And like Tony Robbins always says, like, people who are successful aren't successful by accident. It's not an accident. 0.00001% of successful people accidentally fall into a lottery ticket or something.
Yeah.
But everyone else, all the other high performers and high class performers, it's not an accident. And so those people usually leave ash. They leave trails, maps. It's a roadmap. You just look at what it is that they're doing, apply it multiple times with multiple people until you have a program that works sort of for, you have this foundation. It's like the first person that built a real home that wasn't made out of, like Adobe or whatever.
Yeah.
Somebody came and looked at it and was like, man, this is all right. I'm going to do one like this. So what did you do here and here? You just look at their model of success, lay it all out for yourself, and you emulate. And like, I'll be honest with you. Like, I don't know if Ryan watches any of these or not, but like, to be honest, like I look back at like early on, and a lot of my model is based off of like just pure curiosity as to how the hell he was like making that work.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy.
And once I really went in there and like started just really like kind of like flicking away at all the points of contention in the workflow that I had, I created this workflow that like I can. Well, that was weird. That just popped right back on. Thing's been off forever. Now all of a sudden it's back on. I can genuinely say, maybe with the exception of like the actual posting of the video, which I only dislike because sometimes uploads suck. But there is not a part of content creation or making a video that I don't like. Yeah. I'm like getting off right now thinking about making videos after this. It's crazy.
Yeah.
But I just love it. I love thinking about like, I'll be honest with you guys, anyone who's watching that is playing along with 31 Days with Tofer right now. I don't have a clue what I'm going to have for tomorrow. No idea. Not even a hint of like what movie or game or whatever. But when we're done with this, I'm going to go sit in my movie room with all my DVDs, and I'm just going to look at them, and one's going to speak to me. Well, probably like 500 are going to speak to me, but there's going to be one that's like, this is the one for tonight. That's what happened last night with The Thing that ended up being today's video. Thinking about that process excites me because it's fun. It's an adventure for me. And then I get to sit down and I get to make that video. And then I get to go outside and I sit on my swing. I mean, you've seen, like I've shown you like my little routine. I have this outdoor swing thing that I sit in where I edit all my videos, and I do it outside, away from all distraction once the family's asleep. And it's a treat for me. It's a reward for me. It's my alone time. It's the time where I get to focus on like all of that stuff. And so I genuinely, I'll take that back. I don't love editing long form videos so much. It's very time consuming. And so thank you, Matt, for being the long form editor guy.
And that's why you have offloaded it, because
exactly
anything that you don't enjoy doing, the quicker that you can not have to do that, the better. Mm-hmm. I know that that's not an option for everybody immediately, is to hire a video editor, but it's it is part of the process of being a creator, of being, this person that's creating these things. So you either gotta learn to love it, you gotta learn to tolerate it, or you gotta get rid of it as fast as you can, right?
Yeah, because it will give you burnout.
Oh yeah,
sure. Talking about the burnout, it will absolutely burn you out. You know what? Now that I'm thinking about, I was partially joking when I said, like I hate editing long form video, but thinking about that now is actually probably the closest I've ever come to being burnt out on making content. Was when it was probably about this time last year. You probably remember where like I was telling you, like I was still shooting 4 videos a day, posting 4 videos a day, live streaming 4 nights a week for 4 hours. And every other night I was trying to make a long form video. Yeah. It's before Matt came on board as editor. And it was probably, I tried really hard, and I did get into a bit of a groove where like I kind of had a workflow going, where I was editing the long form videos, but it felt, I was just starting to do long form video. And when you post a long form video and it only gets 300 views, you're like, I spent 3 hours making that video last night and an hour posting it and making a stupid thumbnail and arguing about what the title should be, only for 300 people to watch the damn thing. This is not worth my time. And I remember telling you that. I was like, this is not the time. Long form video is not worth my time. And you're like, well, the first one you have that does like 10,000 views, you're going to think it's worth your time.
You're going to be like, this is why I'm doing it. Yep.
And then that happens. And you're like, oh yeah, obviously I'm fortunate enough now to like have Matt on board as like basically a full-time editor. He currently has 4 long form videos in the shoot that he needs to do, not to mention editing 9 hours of footage for my vlogs, which I'm really excited to revisit when I'm done. Yep, that's me. Total Trek says. I know we talked about this last week, and it is a very difficult spot. You are starting from a spot that I did not start, and that is you're diving right into long form, which like bravo to you. I did not do that at first. I cut my teeth on short form videos, and truth be told, I was told this by so many creators when I first started. Like you should be doing long form. You should be doing long form, and I was like, eh. And now that I've had the experience and I am in the trenches, I'm like, yeah, I should have been doing long form a long time ago.
Yeah, but it's a whole different beast. I think it's also just what makes sense to you. Again, it all comes down to what your goals are. I know I say that a ton, but it depends on what you're trying to get accomplished. But yeah.
I mean, don't get me wrong. The short form really gives you a blast in growth if it takes off. Boy, it's crazy having a short form video that does like 10 million views. That is like the wildest rush that I just can't even explain it. It's very cool, but at the same time, having a long form video that does 500,000 views or whatever is really something. It's just a different beast. It's like having a movie that you make a movie and it goes into theaters and becomes like a blockbuster hit. You're just like, wow. Two very different beasts though.
For sure. And all of those beasts we have researched, experienced, tested, retested, looked at the analytics, all of the advanced analytics that you can find. And those are some of the types of things that I love to talk about and that we are going to be talking about in our Discord server, where we are about to continue this conversation.
Yep. I would like to, this time on Twitch, ask if anyone over on Twitch that is watching that is interested in this thing, do you have any questions? I'd love, if anybody has any questions, I'd love to answer a couple of them.
Sure.
And the last thing, while we're waiting for anybody to ask, if anybody does have questions, the one thing that I will say that I want everybody to know is I was guilty of this early on too, where you're scrolling through, whether it be Instagram or just TikTok, like really likes to feed you these videos, or YouTube, and you come across that one video where it's like, this is the setting you need. Go down to your settings right now, lift it up, go to settings, go to advanced. You see that little thing right there? Turn it on. None of that shit is going to get you what you want. All of those videos are there for you to watch and be like, wow, there's one secret. The secret to being successful at anything in life, but in this case, we're talking about making content, is just like being authentic and talking about the stuff that you are crazy passionate about. And it doesn't matter what it is. It doesn't matter if it's Star Trek stuff. It doesn't matter if it's Halloween stuff or video game stuff or gardening stuff. Do it with passion. Do it long enough so you learn how to do it well. And eventually it like your quality will rise and people will recognize and you will build an audience. And this is my opinion. We talked about this a couple weeks ago. My opinion is do it with a lot of gratitude and do it with the focus of building a positive community and not a negative community. Because the negative community, then people are fickle, man. If it bleeds, it reads, right? Isn't that the old newspaper saying?
Something like that.
If it bleeds, it reads. Yeah.
I'm not that old to know.
You're like, what's a newspaper?
All right, so we got a pretty good question here.
Okay.
I'm assuming, if we're starting from scratch, haven't posted really anything at this point, is it better to just start posting anything or to get a certain style and quality?
BIQQAS. I wish I knew how to pronounce that, but
I was gonna try, but
Biquas.
I was gonna say Bickus is how I was gonna say.
That is a really good question, because this is a offshoot of what we were talking about earlier, of the whole I can't get past I want to shoot a video. I want to post a video to the internet, but I can't decide which camera I want to shoot it on and what I want. I can't decide which microphone I should use and which editing app I should use. That all of that works itself out as you start making videos. So you are not going to have a style, and you are not going to have quality when you first start making videos.
Yeah.
You only get that by making 100 videos.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't develop a style. It's funny. I went back recently to try and find one of my old Freddy Krueger videos. Like this time of year, I'll do the Freddy costume and do a couple episodes of 31 Days dressed as Freddy. And I was trying to send it to a friend, and I had to go way back in my feed to try and find some of these. In some cases, 2 years ago, and I've been making content for 3 years now. So I was already a year and some change into it at this point, and I went back and looked at not necessarily the Freddy videos, but the few videos around that time, and I was like, oh my God, who is this fucking hack on my screen right now? Like, the editing was bad. I wasn't like, my pronunciation wasn't as good. I didn't look like I was thrilled to be there. I guess is like the energy was just not quite there. And that was after probably 1,000 videos, maybe 800 videos. So you're never going to find your style, and you're never going to find the right quality without making a ton of bad videos.
Yeah.
And I say bad videos because they're not going to feel bad in the moment. They're probably going to, I'm sure when I made those videos 2 years ago, I was like, is
you thought they were
blockbuster,
awesome.
baby. Yeah. But when you go back, and that's how you know that you've grown. You look at those things and you see wow, I had this thought the other day of man, my style hasn't changed that much over the years. I should probably do something to switch it up. And then I saw those videos and I was like, whoa,
ooh,
never mind. I've changed quite a bit.
Yep.
So yeah, style will come with time. Quality, on the other hand, doesn't fucking matter. Doesn't matter if you're, and by quality I mean what device you're shooting it on. What, truth be told, you can shoot it on anything. You don't even need a mic.
Absolutely.
You don't need any of that stuff. All people care about is that you come across as genuine, and you're telling a good story. That's really it.
Absolutely. You sure as heck don't need a Shure SM7B.
All right, now.
Okay, so I wanted to really, when I look at this question, should you just start posting, or should you figure some things out first? Again, I said it already today, but one of the biggest things, as far as I'm concerned, is coming up with is figuring out what your goal is. What are you trying to accomplish? Is this just for you? Are you trying to make money doing this? Are you trying to share your knowledge? Are you trying to just create memories for yourself to be able to look back on? There's a lot of different things that you could be trying to do. But Tofer is 100% right. At the end of the day, if you haven't posted something before, if you have not really posted on social media before, the best thing that you can do is just start getting stuff out there. Just start practicing. You can always create a new account if you want. If something goes so horribly wrong that you're like, all right, I just need to start over, you can. It's super easy. So the only time that I recommend people take more time to really think about it is if Tofer came to me tomorrow and said, I want to start a cooking channel. Okay, we're not just going to start, throwing things at the wall. We're not just going to do whatever. Like, let's plan this out a little bit. Let's do some different things. But again, that's because you've already got everything figured out as far as the nuts and bolts of it, right? Now we're just brainstorming creativity wise what's going to land the best and what's going to work best for the audience that you're trying to reach. But yeah, if you're just starting out at this kind of thing, there's a lot of figuring out those nuts and bolts first, and sometimes this is one of the opportunities where quantity is probably more important than quality right now. Just 100%. Getting stuff out there, practicing, and also just getting analytics on things. If you only have 5 or 10 videos out on YouTube or Instagram or wherever, like those could all be flukes 100%. Like those, you don't have enough data to go off of what's working and what's not working yet. Like you need, the more data that you have, the better. Is always gonna be helpful. So
I agree. And I agree, Michelle, we need to do a cheese toast video. Who was that? Jim K93 asks a good question, and this is a question that I think about all the time. Like if I were starting now, what platform is best to start on? I mean, here's my advice. Start a Facebook page, start an Instagram page. Those are the two, one and the same. Make sure you start a Facebook group or a page and not a profile. Start a TikTok and start a YouTube and post it to all of them. There's no reason why. I mean, it's going to take you a couple extra minutes every day to post to those, but there's no reason why you shouldn't be putting yourself out on everything. I started late on YouTube, and luckily it's I put a lot of work into it, but it's caught up. I wish I would have started all at the same time. There's no reason to be not posting your stuff on other platforms because you never know where the tide is going to shift. Don't put all of your eggs in one basket.
100%. I think there's a little bit of like, it depends on, again, what kind of content that you're trying to create, right? Like if you want to be a streamer, if you just want to, stream video games, platforms are going to be different than if you're trying to do 1 minute comedy skits versus a cooking, super educational, you're doing master classes on, Python programming or something. There's different platforms that can probably work a little bit better for the different types of content. And I think once you figure out a little bit of your style too, like we were talking about before, that certain platforms really kind of like different styles.
Oh, 100%.
Of content. So if you find yourself being one of those people that likes a little bit more of the cinematic kind of shooting and a little bit more B-roll with voiceover, a little bit more, really nice, pretty shots, Instagram is probably going to be a little bit more successful for you. Again, if you're making video content, picture content, that kind of thing. If you're a creator that, you only want to do video game streaming, I think Twitch is probably still the best platform right now to be able to focus on. I think YouTube is catching up very, very quick. And we talked about it not last week, 2 weeks ago, but some of the things that they just announced are really cool. But, I think different platforms have their different benefits, little tiny things. But at the end of the day, again, until you figure those things out and where your content lands and where you really shine, you can put a bigger focus on that. But again, at this point, just like I think Tofer was saying, if you're making vertical short form videos, there's no reason to not post it on TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube.
Yeah.
If you're posting, photography or pictures or something, there's no reason not to post it on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter or whatever, right? Like you said, don't put all your eggs in one basket, because as quickly as these platforms have come around, they could very easily be bought by a billionaire and go down the garbage, right?
For sure.
They could, the government could change their thoughts on a different platform. It could get sold again, and the platform is completely gone. Like it could be outlawed by the government tomorrow. There's so many things that the last couple of years have taught us about social media that, man, don't put all your eggs in one basket. That's for sure.
And you'll find out after posting so many videos, so many of the same videos to each platform, which platforms like which videos the most. It's really telling. So yeah, that would be my suggestion. Everything. Do it on everything.
Yeah.
Well, you want to wrap this baby up and hop over to the Discord?
I think that sounds like a good idea.
Well, guys, appreciate you hanging out tonight.
Yes.
Jim, no problem. Thank you for the question.
Yeah.
And thanks everybody for hanging out and being a part of this. Again, this is I don't know how long we'll do this on Thursdays, but we'll stream this on Twitch for a little while, I think. And I think it'll be fun.
Yeah. If you enjoy this, again, we're also streaming it over on the SideQuest Strategy YouTube channel. So if you'd like to, check that out, participate over there as well, that is an option.
Yep. And the Discord, of course.
Yeah. And of course, yes, if you are interested in joining the Discord server, check out that link there. You can also get just sidequeststrategy.com. Will get you to the right place. And that's where we're going to go and hang out. And we're there all week too. It's not just, after the stream. Like, this is slowly becoming a community that we're hanging in all the time. Like, if you ever have, are looking for feedback on something, you have some of these questions that you want to get answered, I'm over there all the time. I live in Discord.
I'm there when he reminds me.
Yeah,
I gotta be honest. Discord is one of those things, as you know, if you are part of the Tofer Discord. Discord is one of those things that I haven't trained my brain yet to go oh yeah, that's one of those things that I need to check every day.
Yeah.
So yeah.
But the more of you guys that sign up, the more I will yell at Tofer to get in the Discord.
Yeah.
And be there.
And I'm totally open for doing this sort of stuff all the time. I mean, I think we've talked about in the future holding one-on-one sessions in Discord. I mean, that's kind of what we do now after the show. So yep.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we appreciate you guys. Thank you so much.
Have a good night, everybody.
Time to hop over to the Discord. We'll see you